Grace Avenue Pirus runs from 213th to 223rd, all the way down Grace. I'm one of the original 4 founders. There's 4 individuals who actually came together and started Grace Avenue in 2002. We actually were a high school gang. Our gang started in Carson High. And we grew to about, 30 deep in Carson High, so we pretty much started off as like a Carson High school gang. I mean, we're in like 9th grade, going to 9th grade. You know, went to Carnegie, Bonita, Carnegie, Stephen White, Curtis. You know what I'm saying? Those are most of the schools that, well, not Curtis, but Bonita, Carnegie, and Carson High. You know what I'm saying? Those are the schools that are in our neighborhood, and those are pretty much the schools that produce most of the Grace Avenues. Before Grace Avenue started, it was actually the G block. It was just right here on this block, bunch of Bloods, Crips, anybody, just pretty much shooting dice, making money. Like, this was like a gambling spot, so they called it the G block. It turned into banging when we start hanging out with other Barson hoods like Cabbage Patch. We started hanging out with the Centerviews and the Scottsdales and, you know, all these hoods in Barson. Everybody wanted us to be from their hood, but we all grew up and we all lived around Grace Avenue and Carson. So after the G block, you know, all different type of gangbangers coming by, respecting, you know, Bloods, Crips, we said, you know what, we're gonna turn Pirus. First it was Grace Avenue Pirus, and then when the West Sides found out that we were, you know, getting official, you know, we started hitting up West Side Grace Avenue Pirus because we were on the west side of Carson. So it went from Grace Avenue Pirus to West Side Grace Avenue Pirus. And then when we put the West Side Grace Avenue Pirus, that's when the West Side Barson Pirus kind of like checked us like, okay, you know, click up. And so once we clicked up with the West Side Barson Pirus, that pretty much solidified us, put us in the map, put us down in history, made all the other Barson hoods respect us because now we're clicked up with an official Westside Barson Pirus gang that actually has OGs, like the Booyah Tribe, we got the 213 block, we got 220th, we got Happyville, 223rd. So once Grace Avenue Pirus was accepted by the Westside Barson Pirus, then we got a level of respect in the city where other gangs knew what it was and they wouldn't try to recruit us or anything because they know, okay, this Grace Avenue shit is official. T-Roo was basically just an active homie. He one of the oldest niggas in the hood. That's my nigga. You feel me? And he did a lot of time in the penitentiary. So by him going to the penitentiary, bringing the Grace Avenue Pirus with him, you know what I'm saying? Through all his stays in the penitentiary, it kind of left our name in the pen. And then once, you know, they seen how he was, he's active, you know what I'm saying? They seen, oh, this is Grace Avenue Pirus. It trickled down, you know, from the pen to the streets. You know what I'm saying? So once T-Roo pretty much solidified us in the penitentiary, in the county jail and shit. And we're a small hood, you know? I mean, all together, we're probably about 20 deep. Now, living in the neighborhood, you probably got less than 10 people. But the thing about us is, when we were young, you know, our family members pretty much put us on the drug game early. So we had money early. You know, my nigga P-Dog, you know, he a big hustler in the city. You know, my nigga was one of the first, you know, dope boys in the hood. My nigga had Caprice at 16. My nigga had Lexus, you know, 20s. We was like 15, 16 years old, you know, pulling up to Carson High in Buick Regal lowriders, you know, and pretty much just because we caught on to the drug game quick, basically weed. You know what I'm saying? We started selling weed like in fucking, what, 9th grade.
I was on packs to get.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we was
on this shit.
We was jugging, you know, early, so pretty much like Grace Avenue, we pretty much stood for money. Like, our alter ego is getting all paper. You know what I'm saying? Because really, we like a drug hood. We really just care about hustling. We really just care about money.
What role did Samoans play in the very early days of Grace Avenue?
Grace Avenue is a Samoan and black hood. Most of the people from Grace Avenue are mixed, you know, with black and white or black and Samoan. Now, the 500 block and 213th is more the African-American side of Grace Avenue. On the west side of Carson, it's more Samoans. We stay in a Samoan, Asian, Mexican neighborhood. Carson has a Samoan culture. If you look right here, they got the Samoan Federation building, and that's pretty much like the Samoan government in Carson. So pretty much Samoan is like Carson, the west side of Carson is a Samoan area. So, that's what it is, black and Samoan. By 2006, like we was already, knocking niggas in DA, you feel me? Like running fades, doing the most. So we was already respected like by 2006, 2010, like 2012, like I think that's when they started putting us on the internet. Now, even the Carson sheriffs, you feel me, like accept us.
Well, you don't want that though, right?
Well, they harassed the shit out of us. But
I don't mean like that. I mean, even
we're a problem.
I mean,
now.
It's good to stay off the police radar.
No,
right?
it is. But that even when the sheriffs know about you, and that's the hood right there. You're official. When the government, when the internet is writing stories about your gang, my nigga, and marking out your territory, like that all started happening around like 2015. That's what I mean. Like before 2014 or 13, you couldn't Google, like if you Google like hoods in Carson, like Grace Avenue wouldn't pop up. But today in 2017, if you Google and you Google in Piru hoods in Carson, it's gonna be a list about 6, 7, or 8 hoods, and Grace Avenue made the cut. So that's why I say today in 2017, we got the Carson Movement started, which is a foundation, which means now we have money backing us. So that's why I say that in 2017, this is, I would say that it took 15 years for us to build a foundation, become established, respected, and feared. We got the Keystones right here, and we got the C13s right here. So Grace Avenue is right in between Keystone Thresse and Carson Thresse.
And what's your relationship with those two neighborhoods? Are you guys cordial with the Mexicans?
Yeah, it's been cordial for years. Stuff happens. Honestly, the founders of Grace Avenue, we all grew up at Carson Park. And the Keystones, the OG Keystones were our football coaches, our baseball coaches. So the young Grace days before gangbanging and all that, we all played like basketball, everything at Carson Park. And the Keystone OGs were our coaches. We played football. We had a team called the Packers. Nigga, the Keystones were our coaches. Like the Keystones back then, they ran Carson Park, basically, and that's where we used to hang out at. So the Keystones, like, they know us. Like all the Keystones know T-Root.
And for those who are watching this that don't know, Keystone is a official solidified Sureño neighborhood in Southern California.
Yeah, Keystone is like one of the most active hoods in Carson, Mexican hoods. VP Victoria Park, we fuck with them heavy. Actually, the VPs kind of helped us out too. Like when we first started, like the VPs was like one of the only hoods like to actually like, accept us and shit. And we had a common enemy too. So like the VPs, we put in a lot of work with the VPs, like, you know what I'm saying? So.
Now when you say you guys had a common enemy, my guess you're talking about the 190s.
Yep.
And what was that relationship like back then?
Basically the 190s was the enemy, like shit, for every Barson hood, you know what I'm saying? So us coming up, like boom, that's the enemy, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, you feel me? And the VPs, they hate them niggas. So the VPs hated them. We was a new hood, we looking for stripes. So basically we just, rolled on them niggas, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much it. And the VPs respected us because we was going on missions with them niggas. And the VPs, they was laying shit down.
Why has it been so difficult to collaborate and to create some sort of unification with the 190s?
I think it's like the same thing that happened to the Black Panthers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some higher up sources, want division. The reason why the 190s are not a part of the Carson movement is because nobody from 190 has been able to step up and say they're gonna be a part of the movement and they don't care what their neighborhood says. Anybody can be a part of the Carson movement, but you have to be a man. You can't worry about the next man, an older nigga telling you what to do. Is that nigga your daddy? No, you know what I'm saying? We trying to get rich. We trying to put our families on. We trying to help the homies out. That's why we started the Carson movement, you know what I'm saying? We trying to unite the blacks, you feel me? Unity is the key because we got a bigger enemy than just blue and red. If you think about it, politics is blue and red, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, like I said, we started the Carson movement and we're trying to show the new generation, man, that it's a new day. And a lot of old heads is brainwashed. A lot of old heads ain't gonna be nothing. And the new generation can be something. So we're just showing them with the movement and with this Grace Avenue Pirus stuff is that real recognize real.
Thanks for watching StreetGangs.com. Please like and share the video you just watched and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also watch 2 of our previous episodes to the right. Please visit the link to our Patreon page and support our campaign. And don't forget to subscribe.